Hello friends, and welcome to Torpedia Uncovered. Our world, this magnificent sphere of life, is a tapestry of wonders, a place of endless exploration and discovery. We humans, with our insatiable curiosity, have charted its deepest oceans and climbed its highest peaks. Yet, for all our travels, there remain corners of our planet that are utterly beyond our reach, places where humans are strictly banned. These are not merely remote locations. They are pockets of the Earth sealed off from the rest of us, holding secrets we are not permitted to uncover. Some of these forbidden zones are the work of nature itself, sculpted by volcanic fire or shrouded in toxic mists, their raw power a stark reminder of our own fragility. Others were created by ancient people, their legacies locked away to protect fragile relics of a time long past, or by modern governments, guarding secrets both scientific and military. Each forbidden place in the world, whether it's an ancient ruin in Greece, a government facility in the United States, or a mysterious island in Brazil, tells a story of danger, preservation, and mystery. They exist as silent monuments to the limits of human access, challenging our desire to know and to see everything. It is a curious paradox that the more a place is forbidden, the more it ignites our imagination. We yearn to peek behind the curtain, to understand why these locations, like the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone in Ukraine or the tombs of Qin Shi Huang in China, are deemed too dangerous, too sacred, or too secret for our presence. What lies within these guarded realms, from the Vatican secret archives in Italy to North Sentinel Island in India? What stories are held in their silent landscapes, whether in the depths of Snake Island in Brazil or the ruins of Poveglia in Italy? So without delay, let's take you to 15 places in the world, each with its own country, where going is nothing less than a major danger. Our journey begins in the Venetian Lagoon, Italy, a place renowned for its romance and beauty. But here, nestled amongst the shimmering waters, lies an island with a history so dark it remains strictly off-limits to the public. This is Poveglia Island, Italy. Its story is not one of canals and gondolas, but of suffering and isolation. During the height of the bubonic plague, this small patch of land became a quarantine station, a final desolate destination for tens of thousands of souls. It is said that the very soil here is composed of the ash and bone of plague victims, a grim foundation for an island forever marked by tragedy. The island's chilling history does not end with the plague. In the 1920s, a mental hospital was established on Poveglia Island, Italy, adding a new layer of torment to its legacy. Stories, though unverified, speak of a doctor who performed cruel experiments on his patients before, driven by madness, he met his own demise. These tales, whether fact or folklore, have woven themselves into the fabric of the island, creating a reputation so fearsome that local fishermen refuse to cast their nets in its waters near Poveglia Island, Italy. It is important to note that our purpose here is not to promote superstition, but to understand the profound historical weight that has led to the island's abandonment. Today, Poveglia Island, Italy, is owned by the Italian government, which has forbidden all access. The buildings, including the decaying hospital and the bell tower from which the doctor is said to have leaped, stand as crumbling monuments to a painful past on Poveglia Island, Italy. Vines crawl over the walls, nature slowly reclaiming what humanity has forsaken on Poveglia Island, Italy. The ban is a practical one, protecting people from the dangers of the dilapidated structures, but it also preserves the island as a silent, undisturbed memorial to the immense suffering it has witnessed over the centuries in Italy. We travel now to East Java, Indonesia, to a place of both surreal beauty and extreme danger, the Ijen Crater in Indonesia. By day, it is a stunning sight, a turquoise-colored acidic crater lake, one of the largest in the world, set against a backdrop of rugged volcanic terrain in Indonesia. But it is at night that Ijen Crater in Indonesia reveals its most extraordinary and perilous secret. As darkness falls, an ethereal electric blue fire can be seen flowing down the sides of the Ijen volcano in Indonesia. This is not lava, as one might assume, but something far more unusual. This mesmerizing spectacle is caused by the combustion of sulfuric gases emerging from cracks in the Ijen volcano in Indonesia at immense pressure and high temperatures, some exceeding 600 degrees Celsius. When this gas comes into contact with the air, it ignites, creating mesmerizing flames that can reach up to 5 meters in height. The burning gas also condenses into liquid sulfur, which continues to burn as it flows down the slopes of Ijen Crater in Indonesia, creating the illusion of a river of blue lava. It is a breathtaking display of nature's chemistry, but one that comes at a great cost. The same sulfuric gases that produce this blue fire at Ijen Crater in Indonesia are incredibly toxic and dangerous. The air within the crater is thick with sulfur dioxide, a pungent gas that can cause severe respiratory problems and is corrosive to the eyes and skin. For this reason, access for tourists is heavily restricted and requires the use of protective gas masks at Ijen Crater in Indonesia. Hardy local miners, however, brave these conditions daily at Ijen Crater in Indonesia, chipping away at the cooled sulfur to carry heavy loads out of the crater. For the rest of us, Ijen Crater in Indonesia remains a place to be observed from a safe distance, a testament to the fact that the most beautiful phenomena in nature are often the most deadly. On April 26, 1986, a catastrophic event at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine changed the world forever. A flawed reactor design, operated by inadequately trained personnel, led to a steam explosion and fire, releasing a plume of radioactive material that spread across Europe. In the aftermath, a vast area surrounding the plant was evacuated, creating what is now known as the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone in Ukraine. This 2,600 square kilometer territory remains one of the most radioactively contaminated places on Earth. The city of Pripyat in Ukraine, built to house the plant's workers and their families, now stands as a ghost town, a haunting time capsule of the Soviet era. Schools in Pripyat, Ukraine are littered with decaying textbooks and gas masks, a Ferris wheel that never turned stands rusting in an abandoned amusement park in Pripyat, Ukraine, and apartment buildings in Pripyat, Ukraine, are slowly being consumed by nature. The silence is profound, broken only by the wind whistling through shattered panes of glass in Pripyat, Ukraine. This is a landscape frozen in the moment of its abandonment, a powerful and somber monument to the devastating consequences of nuclear disaster in Ukraine. While humans were forced to flee, wildlife has returned to the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone in Ukraine in a remarkable, if paradoxical way. The absence of human activity has allowed populations of wolves in Ukraine, wild boar in Ukraine, deer in Ukraine, and even the rare Przewalski's horse in Ukraine to flourish. These animals now roam the empty streets and overgrown forests of the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone in Ukraine, living and breeding in a radioactive environment. This has turned the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone in Ukraine into a unique, albeit involuntary, wildlife sanctuary. Yet, the radiation persists in the soil, the water, and the plants of Ukraine, a silent, invisible threat. For humans, prolonged, unprotected exposure remains lethal, and the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone in Ukraine remains a forbidden, poignant reminder of our capacity for self-destruction. Deep in the Nevada desert, United States, there exists a place that has captured the public imagination like no other. It is a location that officially, for many years, did not exist. This is Area 51, United States, a detachment of Edwards Air Force Base. Its true purpose is shrouded in intense secrecy, a fact that has made it a fertile ground for speculation and conspiracy theories for decades. The intense privacy surrounding the base has led many to believe it is a hub for research into extraterrestrial life and captured alien spacecraft, most famously, the alleged craft from the Roswell incident, United States. The reality, while perhaps less fantastical, is no less compelling. Area 51, United States, is a highly classified United States Air Force facility used for the development and testing of advanced, experimental aircraft and weapons systems. Some of the most revolutionary aircraft in aviation history, including the U-2 spy plane and the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter, were tested here, far from prying eyes. The base's secrecy is a matter of national security, protecting cutting-edge technology that gives the United States a strategic military advantage. Trying to get a glimpse of these secrets is an impossible task. The base is protected by a perimeter of warning signs, electronic surveillance, and armed guards who are authorized to use deadly force. The airspace above it is the most restricted in the world. Anyone attempting to enter the area is swiftly apprehended and faces severe penalties, including hefty fines and imprisonment. Area 51, United States, remains a black spot on the map, a fortress of military secrecy that continues to fuel our fascination with the unknown, proving that sometimes the most intriguing places are the ones we can never see. In the ancient city of Hierapolis, in modern-day Turkey, archaeologists uncovered a site that matches the descriptions of a place feared in antiquity, the Plutonian, or Pluto's Gate, in Turkey. Ancient writers like Strabo described it as a gateway to the underworld, a cave from which a deadly, invisible vapor emanated. They wrote of animals being led into the opening, only to drop dead instantly, while the eunuch priests of the goddess Cybele could enter unharmed, seemingly protected by divine power. For centuries, this was considered mere legend, a fantastical tale from a bygone era. But scientific investigation has revealed a startling truth behind the myth. The cave at Pluto's Gate in Turkey sits directly on a geological fault line, from which a dense concentrated cloud of carbon dioxide seeps out. This gas, being heavier than air, pools at the floor of the grotto, creating a lethal, oxygen-deprived lake of CO2. Animals, with their heads closer to the ground, would wander into this invisible cloud and suffocate within moments, creating the illusion of a supernatural force at work. The priests, being taller, could keep their heads above the deadliest concentration of the gas. It's also believed they understood the nature of the phenomenon, perhaps holding their breath or using the heightened CO2 levels to induce hallucinatory states for their religious rituals. Today, the site at Pluto's Gate in Turkey remains incredibly dangerous. The concentration of carbon dioxide is still lethal, a silent and invisible killer. Access is strictly forbidden to protect visitors from succumbing to the same fate as the animals of antiquity, making Pluto's Gate in Turkey a place where ancient myth and modern science converge to create a truly forbidden zone. In the vast, tumultuous expanse of the Southern Ocean, halfway between Australia and Antarctica, lies one of the most remote places on Earth, Heard Island, Australia. This is an Australian external territory, but it bears no resemblance to the sun-drenched beaches of the mainland of Australia. It is a bleak, forbidding, and spectacularly wild landscape, dominated by a massive, active volcano named Big Ben, Australia. Its peak, Mawson Peak, Australia, is the highest mountain in any Australian-controlled territory, perpetually covered in glaciers and ice. Heard Island, Australia, is a world of fire and ice. The volcano is active, with lava flows occasionally melting their way through the thick glacial ice that smothers its flanks, creating a dramatic and violent spectacle on Heard Island, Australia. The island is battered by ferocious weather, with relentless winds, heavy cloud cover, and freezing temperatures being the norm on Heard Island, Australia. Its isolation is profound. The nearest inhabited landmass is thousands of kilometers away, across some of the roughest seas on the planet, surrounding Heard Island, Australia. Reaching Heard Island, Australia, is a monumental undertaking, a journey that can take weeks by ship. Because of its extreme remoteness and fragile, unique ecosystem, the Australian government has designated Heard Island, Australia, as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a strict nature reserve. There is no permanent human settlement here, and access to Heard Island, Australia, is forbidden to all but a handful of scientists conducting approved research. The island is a pristine, natural laboratory, home to vast colonies of penguins, seals, and seabirds, all living in an environment virtually untouched by humanity on Heard Island, Australia. It remains a forbidden wilderness, a powerful testament to the raw, untamable forces of nature that still command parts of our world, like Heard Island, Australia. In 1940, in the Dordogne region of southwestern France, a group of teenagers stumbled upon a discovery that would honestly rewrite our understanding of prehistoric art. They found the entrance to a cave complex, with its walls adorned with over 600 magnificent paintings. This was the Lascaux Cave in France, a gallery of Paleolithic art dating back some 17,000 years. The vibrant depictions of large animals, bulls, horses, and deer, were astonishingly well preserved, their colors and forms a vivid window into the minds of our ancient ancestors. The discovery caused a worldwide sensation, and the cave was opened to the public in 1948. For years, tourists flocked to witness this prehistoric masterpiece in Lascaux Cave, France. However, the very presence of so many visitors began to threaten the art they had come to see. The carbon dioxide exhaled by up to 1,200 visitors per day, combined with the heat from artificial lighting and changes in air circulation, began to visibly damage the delicate paintings. Algae and calcite crystals started to appear on the walls, dimming the vibrant ochres and blacks. Faced with the irreversible decay of this priceless human heritage, the French government made a difficult but necessary decision. In 1963, the original Lascaux cave in France was closed to the public forever. The ban remains in effect to this day, with only a small team of scientists allowed inside Lascaux Cave, France, for a few minutes each week to monitor its condition. To satisfy public curiosity, a meticulous replica, Lascaux II in France, was created nearby, followed by the even more comprehensive Lascaux IV, also in France. The original cave in France is now a forbidden sanctuary, a silent, dark space where the art of our ancestors is protected from the destructive love of its descendants. In the Bay of Bengal lies North Sentinel Island, India, part of the Andaman Archipelago, India. On the surface, it is a paradise, a lush green island fringed with white sandy beaches and coral reefs, all within North Sentinel Island, India. But this island is home to one of the most isolated and mysterious human populations on the planet, the Sentinelese, who inhabit North Sentinel Island, India. They are one of the last uncontacted peoples in the world, having lived in near total isolation on North Sentinel Island, India, for what is estimated to be tens of thousands of years. They have consistently and, honestly, pretty violently rejected all attempts at contact from the outside world on North Sentinel Island, India. The Sentinelese are hunter-gatherers, living a life that has remained unchanged for millennia on North Sentinel Island, India. They hunt with bows and arrows and fish in the coastal waters of North Sentinel Island, India, with simple nets and harpoons. Very little is known about their language, their beliefs, or their social structure on North Sentinel Island, India. What is known, however, is their unwavering hostility towards outsiders approaching North Sentinel Island, India. Anyone who approaches the island, be it fishermen, researchers, or even those shipwrecked by accident, is met with a volley of arrows on North Sentinel Island, India. They have made it unequivocally clear that they wish to be left alone on North Sentinel Island, India. In recognition of their vulnerability and their expressed desire for non-contact, the Indian government has established a 3-mile exclusion zone around the entire North Sentinel Island, India. It is illegal for anyone to go to North Sentinel Island, India. This law serves a dual purpose. It protects outsiders from the Sentinelese's hostility on North Sentinel Island, India, but more importantly, it protects the Sentinelese from us. Having no immunity to common diseases like the flu or measles, contact with the outside world could lead to a devastating epidemic that would wipe out the entire population of North Sentinel Island, India. North Sentinel Island, India, is therefore a forbidden place, a rare and fragile bubble of human history that we must observe only from a great distance. Buried deep inside a mountain on the remote Norwegian island of Spitsbergen, Norway, halfway between mainland Norway and the North Pole, lies a facility of immense global importance. This is the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, Norway, often referred to as the Doomsday Vault. It is not a place of danger in the conventional sense, but its purpose is to safeguard humanity against a future catastrophe. The vault is a failsafe, a secure backup for the world's crop diversity. The facility is designed to store duplicates of seed samples from crop collections around the globe. It currently holds over 1 million samples, representing more than 13,000 years of agricultural history. The purpose is simple, but, pretty profound, to ensure that if a regional or global crisis, such as nuclear war, climate change, or disease, wipes out certain crops, we have a repository from which to restore them. The vault is built to withstand almost any conceivable disaster, from asteroid impacts to rising sea levels. Its chambers cooled to a frigid -18 degrees Celsius to keep the seeds viable for centuries, or even millennia. Access to the vault is exceptionally restricted. It is not open to the public, and only a handful of designated personnel are permitted to enter. The security is formidable, with multiple locked doors, motion sensors, and the natural protection of hundreds of feet of solid rock and permafrost in Svalbard, Norway. The vault only opens a few times a year to accept new deposits from gene banks worldwide, all sent to Svalbard, Norway. This is not a place for visitors. It is a working bank, a quiet, cold, and forbidden fortress in Svalbard, Norway, whose sole purpose is to hold the keys to humanity's future food supply. The Galapagos Islands in Ecuador, a volcanic archipelago in the Pacific Ocean, are a name synonymous with Charles Darwin and the theory of evolution. This isolated group of islands in Ecuador is, honestly, like a living museum and a showcase of biodiversity, home to a vast number of endemic species, creatures found nowhere else on Earth. From the giant tortoises that give the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador their name to marine iguanas, flightless cormorants, and the famous variety of finches, the wildlife here has evolved in isolation for millions of years, often with little fear of humans. This unique and fragile ecosystem in Ecuador is precisely why the Galapagos are, in many ways, a forbidden place. While tourism is permitted, it is incredibly tightly controlled. The Ecuadorian government and the Galapagos National Park Directorate in Ecuador have implemented some of the strictest conservation rules on the planet to protect this natural wonder. The vast majority of the archipelago in Ecuador, 97% of its landmass, is designated as a national park, and access is strictly limited to designated visitor sites. Tourists cannot simply wander off and explore the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador. They must be accompanied at all times by a licensed naturalist guide, and they must stick to marked trails in the Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. There are strict rules against touching or feeding the animals, and even bringing foreign organic matter like seeds or food to the Galapagos Islands in Ecuador is prohibited to prevent the introduction of invasive species. Many of the smaller, more sensitive islands in the Galapagos, Ecuador are completely off-limits to all but a few research scientists. The Galapagos Islands in Ecuador are a powerful example of how forbidden can be a tool for preservation, ensuring this cradle of evolution remains intact for generations to come. Off the coast of São Paulo, Brazil, lies a small island known as Ilha da Queimada Grande, Brazil. To the casual observer, it looks like a beautiful, uninhabited tropical paradise in Brazil, but this island, Snake Island, Brazil, hides a terrifying secret that has earned it a much more fitting name. It is home to one of the highest concentrations of venomous snakes anywhere in the world. The exact number is debated, but some estimates suggest there is, on average, one snake for every square meter of land on Ilha da Queimada Grande, Brazil. The dominant inhabitant of this island is the golden lancehead pit viper, a species found nowhere else on Earth except Ilha da Queimada Grande, Brazil. Isolated from the mainland of Brazil, these snakes evolved a uniquely potent venom. Because their prey consists mainly of birds, their venom had to become incredibly fast-acting, capable of killing a bird almost instantly before it could fly away from Snake Island, Brazil. It is estimated to be 3 to 5 times more powerful than that of its mainland relatives in Brazil, and it can cause kidney failure, internal bleeding, and necrosis of the flesh. A bite is almost certainly a death sentence on Ilha da Queimada Grande, Brazil. Due to the extreme danger posed by the golden lanceheads, the Brazilian government has made it illegal for anyone to visit Snake Island, Brazil. The only exceptions are for a handful of carefully vetted biologists and researchers who study the snakes on Ilha da Queimada Grande, Brazil, and even they must be accompanied by a doctor. The Brazilian Navy makes an annual stop to maintain the lighthouse on Snake Island, Brazil, which was automated long ago after the last lighthouse keeper reportedly met a grim end. This island in Brazil is nature's own fortress, a forbidden place where a unique and deadly predator reigns supreme. Our next location, Ramri Island in Myanmar, is the site of one of the most horrific wildlife-related massacres ever recorded. The island itself is a large, swampy landmass covered in dense mangrove forests. While it is inhabited by people, its dark reputation comes from a single, terrifying event that took place during the Second World War on Ramri Island, Myanmar. In 1945, during a battle between British and Japanese forces, the forbidding mangrove swamps of Ramri Island, Myanmar, became a deadly trap. As the battle turned against them, a contingent of around 1,000 Japanese soldiers was forced to retreat through 16 kilometers of dense mangrove swamp on Ramri Island, Myanmar, to rejoin their main battalion. British soldiers warned them against this route, not because of enemy fire, but because of what lived within the swamps of Ramri Island, Myanmar. The Japanese soldiers, however, pressed on into the darkness of Ramri Island, Myanmar. What followed was a night of sheer terror. The swamps were infested with one of the most dangerous predators on Earth, the saltwater crocodile. Over the course of the night, the British soldiers, positioned on the edge of the swamp on Ramri Island, Myanmar, listened to the horrifying sounds of men being attacked and dragged under the water by the massive reptiles. While the exact number of casualties is disputed, the Guinness Book of World Records lists it as the greatest disaster suffered from animals. It is believed that hundreds of soldiers perished on Ramri Island, Myanmar. Today, the swamps of Ramri Island, Myanmar, remain a treacherous and dangerous place, a grim reminder of a wartime horror where the greatest threat was not human, but a primeval predator lurking just beneath the surface of the water. In 1963, off the southern coast of Iceland, the crew of a fishing trawler witnessed a remarkable sight, a column of dark smoke rising from the sea. They were witnessing the birth of an island, Surtsey, Iceland. Over the next 3.5 years, a series of volcanic eruptions from 130 meters below the sea surface built up enough material to form a brand new landmass off Iceland. It was named Surtsey, Iceland, after Surtur, the fire giant from Norse mythology. This was honestly a rare opportunity for science to observe the creation of a new island in Iceland from its very beginning. From the moment it cooled enough to be considered stable, Surtsey, Iceland, was declared a protected nature reserve. The primary goal was to study how life colonizes a completely sterile piece of land in Iceland, without any interference from humans. It was to be, a pristine natural laboratory on Surtsey, Iceland. Scientists wanted to see which seeds would arrive on Surtsey, Iceland, carried by wind, sea currents, or birds. They wanted to observe the first insects, the first plants, and eventually, the first nesting birds, all arriving and establishing themselves through natural processes alone on Surtsey, Iceland. For this grand experiment to work, human contamination on Surtsey, Iceland, had to be eliminated. Access to Surtsey, Iceland, is strictly forbidden to the public. Only a very small number of approved scientists are allowed to land on the island of Surtsey, Iceland, and they must follow incredibly strict protocols. Before arriving on Surtsey, Iceland, they must thoroughly check their clothing and equipment for any stray seeds. Any structures on Surtsey, Iceland are minimal, and the island is intended to be left as untouched as possible. Surtsey, Iceland is a forbidden place not because of danger, but for the sake of pure science, allowing us a unique glimpse into the fundamental processes of life on our planet. Miyakojima in Japan is one of Japan's Izu Islands, a volcanic chain stretching south from Tokyo, Japan. At first glance, it appears to be a lush, subtropical island. However, it sits atop an active volcanic chain, and its main feature, Mount Oyama in Japan, is one of the most volatile volcanoes in the region. Since 2000, Mount Oyama in Japan has been in a near-constant state of eruption, leaking huge quantities of poisonous sulfuric gas from its summit. This has turned a once-thriving community into one of the strangest and most dangerous inhabited places on Earth. The concentration of toxic gases, primarily sulfur dioxide, can rise to lethal levels with little to no warning, depending on the wind and weather conditions on Miyakojima, Japan. Following a major series of eruptions in 2000, the entire island's population of around 3,600 people was forced to evacuate Miyakojima, Japan. They were not allowed to return for almost 5 years. Even now, with residents having returned to Miyakojima, Japan, life is far from normal. Alarms can sound at any time across the island, warning of a dangerous spike in gas levels on Miyakojima, Japan. Because of this constant invisible threat, all residents of Miyakojima, Japan are required by law to carry a gas mask with them at all times. They must be prepared to put it on at a moment's notice. While tourism has resumed on a limited basis, visitors to Miyakojima, Japan must also adhere to these rules and undergo safety briefings. Large sections of the island, particularly around Mount Oyama in Japan's summit, remain permanently off-limits. Miyakojima, Japan, is a stark example of human resilience, but also a constant reminder of the power of the earth beneath our feet, a place where the very air you breathe can become your enemy. Our final destination is not a remote island or a secret base, but a vast swathe of the French countryside in France. This is the Zone Rouge, or Red Zone, in France. It is a scar left on the landscape by the First World War, a collection of areas in France deemed too dangerous for human habitation. During the war, battlefields like Verdun in France and the Somme in France were subjected to the most intense artillery bombardments in human history. The ground was churned into a hellish moonscape, saturated with metal, chemicals, and human remains. When the war ended, the French government realized that cleaning up these areas in France would be impossible. The soil was polluted with unimaginable quantities of unexploded ordnance, grenades, shells, and mortars, as well as the toxic remnants of chemical weapons like mustard gas and phosgene. Lead, mercury, and arsenic from millions of decaying munitions contaminated the land and water in France. The sheer density of danger was so great that these areas in France were cordoned off, their former villages erased from the map, and all access forbidden. Today, more than a century later, the Zone Rouge in France still exists. While its size has been reduced through incredible and dangerous cleanup efforts by a special government agency, large areas in France remain strictly off-limits. They are often covered in forests, but beneath the trees, the ground in France is still pockmarked with shell craters and littered with rusting, lethal explosives. It is a place in France where the war has never truly ended. The Zone Rouge in France stands as a permanent, poison memorial to the devastating and long-lasting environmental legacy of human conflict. From the haunted shores of Poveglia Island, Italy to the poisoned fields of the Zone Rouge, France, our journey has taken us to the very edges of the accessible world. These 15 places, each forbidden for its own unique reason, remind us that our planet still holds realms of profound danger, sacred history, and protected secrets. They are monuments to tragedy, laboratories for science, and fortresses of nature. These are not mere tourist destinations to be checked off a list. They are powerful stories, written into the geography of our Earth. The existence of these forbidden zones speaks to a fundamental tension in the human spirit. We are driven by an innate desire to explore, to know, to see what lies beyond the next horizon. Yet, we also possess the wisdom to recognize our limits, to understand that some places must be left untouched for the sake of preservation, safety, or simple respect. The Sentinel Island on North Sentinel Island, India, the Art of Lascaux, France, the Seeds in Svalbard Global Seed Vault, Norway, all are protected by the very act of our exclusion, a testament to our capacity for foresight and restraint. As we conclude our tour of the inaccessible, perhaps the greatest takeaway is a renewed appreciation for the world we can explore. The stories of these forbidden places enrich our understanding of the planet's complexity and our place within it. They fuel our imagination and serve as a humbling reminder that for all our technological prowess, there are still corners of this world that command our respect from a distance. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the world's most restricted locations. Stay curious and stay safe.